Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Walrus's TCG Dailies. I hope you are having a beautiful day. I know it's been a hot minute since I last played. I've been having some trouble considering some decks to run, and I've been also just taking a break with the Christmas holiday to just relax and spend time with family. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. I've been struggling to pick out decks. So yesterday, I was hanging out with a bud. I was like, hey, I'm looking for deck ideas. Name a Pokemon. Any Pokemon. Your favorite, whatever, first one you see. And he said, Greedent. And so, I thought about it. I took a look at what was available. And I said, yeah, I can work with Greedent. So here I come with Greedent Shmeedent as the theme of the deck. Let's take a look at what's actually going on in the deck. So I'm running Greedent EX from Obsidian Flame, and I'm running Greedent from Scarlet Violet base. Greedent EX has two moves. It's a 260 normal type with a fighting weakness. For one, colorless energy, you can look at top 3 cards of your hand, put them to your hand. If you don't, discard them and draw 3 cards. Okay. Like, it's not terrible. If you need to draw, it's an option. And then there's Slip and Roll, which is 210 for free colorless energy. During your next turn, this Pokemon cannot use Slip and Roll. I mean, there's many ways to get by that. There's other Pokemon that do it better, such as Miraidon and Koraidon from Scarlet Violet base. EX variations, where they attack, they can't attack for the next turn. So you retreat, then you switch it back in. Greedent EX being a stage 1 with 2 retreat costs makes it a bit trickier to use, but you just utilize a lot of switch cards. Greedent from Scarlet Violet base has Bite, which is 50 for 2 colorless, or Enhanced Fang, which is 80 for 3 colorless. But if you have a tool attached, this attack does 80 more damage. So you get a max 160. Which honestly isn't terrible. For supports, I'm running Dunsparce because of the mysterious nest ability, which means that normal Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents, have no weakness. So now we're not playing against any normal decks. Normal isn't common, but even if we were, we don't have any advantage against normal. So Dunsparce is really only a benefit to us against the fighting rock decks that aren't common, but do pop up. We're also running a single copy of Manaphy for support. You could consider Jirachi, but Jirachi is a super niche matchup, while you see a lot more Manaphy usage. Because it's only basic effect damage, so you got stuff like King Lu, EX, and Sableye from Lost Box, just for the Jirachi. But you see a lot more bench damage rather than bench ping from Jirachi with the Manaphy. So pairing up, I'm running B-Barrel as my draw engine, and one of the key things that made me like this deck is the Squovan B-Barrel combo. Now, people will run this in just normal decks. Squovan allows you to shuffle your hand, put them on the bottom of your deck, and then draw 1. So you pair that up with B-Barrel, and it's essentially a refresh of your hand up to 5. Even if you're at like 7, 8, 9 cards, if you don't have anything in hand, you can Squovan B-Barrel to get a fresh hand of 5 without any discarding. So it's super nice. Since I'm running mono normal and special energy destruction isn't too big at this moment, you don't really see any Temple of Sinnoh or Giacomo in TCG Live. I'm running special energy. Now the big one is going to be turbo energy, double turbo energy, and jet energy. I'm running a 4/4 of these, because DTE is going to allow me to attack turn 2. Of course, we're going to take a 20 damage reduction. However, we can manage that. The Jet Energy is going to be an easy switch. If I have a switch card in hand and a Jet Energy, I can run a Jet Energy switch to get the Green EX back and refresh to attack again. We got V-Guard Energy for a little bit of protection, and we got Therapeutic Energy to prevent being asleep, confused, or paralyzed. And that can really just finish it up in the late game. Those are effects you don't see crazy amounts of, but when they appear, they can be dangerous. Of course, if you want to run special energies of your own, you feel free to customize. These are the ones that I felt were the most relevant. Medical energy could provide a bit more longevity. Treasure energy could ramp out some energy. Lucky energy and gift energy get extra draw potential. But these are the key ones that I thought. V-Guard energy, while these aren't as common in the EX era on TCG Live, they still appear. And pairing with my big item of choice, the Rigid Band, which allows stage 1 Pokemon to take 30 less damage, that's a 60 damage reduction. That's not terrible. Now, if you want extra damage reduction, you could pair up with Defiance Vest. Now, it requires your opponent to have more prize card, or you to have more prize cards than your opponent. Your opponent's taking more prize cards. But that's 40 damage resistance. It's all right. Taking a look, I'm running just a basic supporter combo. 3 Arvin, 3 bosses, 2 Yono, 2 research. This is really my supporter core for most situations, just on the notion that we can get switches out, we can search out specific cards, and we can refresh our hand or opponent's hand, or we can just refresh our hand. I think it's a classic combo, and research becomes a bit more valuable with cards like Squovent, because if I could top deck the research off of a Squovent, then it's a best case scenario. We got a couple switch and a couple escape rope, 3 and 2 to be specific, just for that notion. Our searching cards are going to be 3 level ball, 3 ultra ball, and I'm not running any basic Pokemon with high HP, no basic EX, no basic Vs, so that's why I opted for the level ball, just a bit of flexibility. TM Evolution's there. It's a nice option to evolve, but it's also another option to get that damage on with Enhanced Fang on Greedent. I mean, it's non-permanent, but it's more valuable than anything I saw. Artizone, half to the peak. We're not running any Roblox with abilities. We're running a good amount of basic Pokemon. These are 2 great stadiums to choose from. Half to the peak, I see more value coming into it. I have a feeling I'm gonna see a lot more abilities on Roblox with the future past Paradox Pokemon. So I'm seeing Path to the Peak is going to be more valuable for my eyes. And finally, a couple Super Rods just to refresh in case we need to research. Now, Super Rod's only going to be targeting our Pokemon, so you might find a better item. Since we're not running basic energies, we're running special energies, then Super Rod's not as crazy as some options, but I thought Super Rod's a classic. So yeah, that's going to be Greedent and Shmeedent. Thatcher Tool will do 100 damage. Be super happy with those. Let's just play a match or 2. Now, I went into deep depth and analysis. That's because I want to know what's your opinions on this deck. What would you run differently? Would you pair it with anything else? I mean, rock and fighting is not as common of a type that you see now. So maybe you could consider taking out the Dunsparce. Yeah, we flipped the tails. We like to go first in this situation, but we can manage with second, especially with TM Evolution. You know, maybe you don't see the Manaphy matchup, or perhaps you want to run a different draw engine. Here comes the Squovent. This is a tough call on what I want to do. They're going first regardless. Thunderous, interesting. Yeah, but they're going first regardless, so we got some time to think. Now, it's a tough call. I want to get the Bidoof set up for the B-Barrel evolution. But the only thing I can consider really dropping is the switch into escape rope. He drops boss's orders in research for a Miraidon EX. Right call in my opinion on that. You do want to set up as soon as possible. Sets up another Miraidon EX and a Tapu Koko EX. I have a couple of these Tapu Koko. I'm not quite sure on how I feel about them. like, I'm not, I mean, paralyzation's nice, but it's on the consequence that your opponent was knocked, or you were knocked out last turn. So you need to run basics to really get the value out of that. The paralyzation's nice. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it. Okay. Super Rod. I think we could dump the Super Rod. I don't really want to switch anything up. So I'm going to keep the escape rope from... Dump the switch. I think I'm running 3-2 switch escape rope. So it's better to dump that. Pick up the Bidoof. And there's nothing really crazy I need to do. I want to save the Rigid Band for next turn. Because, I mean, if he knocks me out, then there's nothing I can do about it regardless. I can put the Rigid Band on B-Barrel. With the amount of basics, you consider a Battle VIP Pass. But I feel like Battle VIP Pass doesn't really need to be ran. We have cards like Artizone and Nest Ball to really support. He's got to take out the Squovent. We get Escape Rope to force something out, but I mean, he'll probably go Miraidon EX. Yep. Okay. Alright. Not what I like to see. I want to fit out my hand as much as possible. I mean, there's a possibility he doesn't have the electric in hand, so the Miraidon EX might not be the best kit. V-Guard. So, I mean, optimal, probably not, but it was something. Okay, Nest Ball. Shoot, I already attached the Rigid Band. So Evolution's not gonna do anything. Might as well get another Rigid Band. Let's get a Level Ball. Let's go Squovent. We could tank the hit from the Thunderous. We can. So I can't take the hit from the Rhydon. My best opportunity is just to leave the B-Barrel active. Four Steel Stone, so he's gonna be able to search up something. I don't know if he would go for electric energy or for a switch. I wouldn't switch into Thunderous. I would keep it in the back right now. Yeah, he goes for the electric energy to get the kill. Okay. Just getting some water. Make sure you are staying hydrated. Yono's interesting. We'll play it. Hopefully we can fish out something. With what they have in their hand, I really don't care anymore. Okay, I could have used this earlier. We are out of Bidoof, however. So let's just set up a Squovent. Level Ball. Pick up another Squovent. I don't believe they really have bench ping. Might as well sped up a Dunsparce to thin out the deck, right? Let's pick up a second Greedent. And well, it's 30, but it could come in clutch in there. You never know. There's no reason not to attack. I mean, if he could switch, okay. That's the setup to allow Miraidon EX to attack again. This is exactly what I was talking about. Look at this move. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Well, effects, statuses, I guess is the way to put it. There's status that's like status conditions, and there's statuses that are game statuses. So status condition would be like poison, asleep, confusion. This is a status condition, or status of game status, where they can't do something as long as this condition is applied. And the condition that's going on is that we'll put mana fee, why not? Oh shoot. Okay. I goofed up. The status that's going on, the game status, is that during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Now, statuses are negated when you move from the active slot. So, if the Pokemon is to retreat, the Miraidon now does not have the status applied to it anymore. So, it can attack. However, it's on the bench, you're only allowed one retreat per turn by effect of the rules. So, if you can run something like a switch card, so now the Miraidon's on the bench, the game status is removed, then you retreat, the Miraidon EX can now attack again. Or you run like a second switch card. I'll take a prize card. Hopefully a research. Nope. Okay. Tough call on what I want to do. We'll go here. Worst thing we do is a retreat. Now, certain status conditions like sleep or paralysis. Yeah, we just need to prime that up. So certain status conditions like sleep or paralysis just don't allow you to retreat. That's game rules. And game rules supersede status effects, right? So if the Regilucky VMAX here is paralyzed, even though it has retreat cost of 0, it is no longer allowed to retreat. So if the Miraidon EX was paralyzed or asleep, then the Miraidon EX will no longer be allowed to... Rocky Helmet, that's weird. No longer allowed to retreat. However, the issue arises that does not... Card text will supersede that. So it's like status effects, game rules, then card text. So if a card says switch this active Pokemon to your bench, then the card's going to do that, such as switch card, switch, or escape rope. Or during Sun and Moon era, there was a card called Escape Board or something like that, right? And essentially what it did was it reduced your retreat cost by 1. Pokemon that were paralyzed or asleep could retreat. It was a Pokemon tool. So that was your way of getting the retreat going, even though you were asleep or paralyzed. Something's up with the music. Okay, sorry about that. The music was just froze up there for a second. Okay, so he's gonna do 250. I think that's vitality. He's doing 260. He would have killed regardless. Paralyze and sleep are interesting mechanics, but they're balanced out though. For example, sleep is balanced out by the notion of you have to flip a coin between every turn in order for it to reset. And so it's a 50-50 chance of it more likely to be cured every other turn or every turn after, due to the notion of coin flips. Okay. We lost. That's alright. Again, I don't think... Electric is a pretty strong deck. so I wasn't expecting a victory there. Plus, we kind of didn't get the cards we needed, but that's the game. And there's certain decks that can paralyze lock, but with how common cards like Switch, Escape Rope, and Switch Card are, then it's quite possible to not win with a paralyze only deck. Also due to the notion that paralyzation is often weak. When Glenwood Tangle and the D rotation was legal, I had a very fun deck that I won like maybe 3 out of the 30 games I played with it. And the games I won were against super weak decks. But I won very few decks, or very few games. But the notion of going first, I would love to go second on this one. Okay. Whatever. We'll set up a Bidoof to get evolution going. I need more energy. I don't know why I'm not opening with that energy. First end turn. It was Pinchurchin and Emolga and Glenwood Tangle. And the core gimmick was that Emolga and Pinchurchin had coin flip moves that if heads would force your opponent to be paralyzed. If they were paralyzed, there's nothing they can do, right? Paralyzation is a very strong effect. If they were, interesting. If they were paralyzed, they couldn't attack, they couldn't retreat, all they could do was play cards from their hand. I think abilities could still work if you're paralyzed. Anywho, with the deck, coin flips aren't great. I don't go by coin flips because it's a 50-50. They get the heads or they don't. You don't get the heads. You get the tails and it doesn't happen. However, with Glenwood Tangle, we're talking some serious stuff right there because your coin flip is doubled on moves. So anytime that you, the player, flip a coin for an attack, you can reset the coin flip so that it happens again. Okay. Yeah, I could take this. Yeah, I'll be fine. So, what that means is with Glenwood Tangle, I do my coin flip with Emolga. If it's tails, I could say, no, flip the coin again. And so now it's a second coin flip. Or, if it's something with a multi-coin flip like Pinchurchin, at Pinchurchin you have to flip 4 coins, and if at least 2 are heads, then it, how do I put it? If at least 2 are heads, then it gets paralyzed. So with the Pinchurchin, you would flip 4 coins, right? So it could be heads, tails, tails, heads, and then the paralyzation occurs. Or it could be heads, 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 heads. Now, statistically, with a coin flip, their win condition is not get paralyzed. And to not get paralyzed, you need 2 heads in a row. So, that works really well for me because of the situation that it's a 25% chance that I lose rather than a 55 or 50% chance. Gross. How it works is the notion that the first condition is a win-loss 50-50 independent of the second notion. So statistically, it says, well, you know. So statistically, it says that you have to consider all of your conditions in order to get a true statistical analysis of what's going on. Toss a rigid band, sure. We need another Swoven setup. Get a kill, okay. So my victory condition is getting at least 1 head. And there is 4 scenarios if you always do the coin flip again. There is heads on the first time, heads on the second time. Or the scenario could be heads on the first time, tails on the second time. You could have tails on the first time, tails on the second time, or tails on the second time, tails on the head, or heads on the tails on the first time, tails on the heads on the second time. So essentially, tails is their victory condition, our loss condition. So all we need is to just get one tail or one heads, and we win. So 3 out of the 4 scenarios results in a tail. And since that is the case, then 1 heads is a victory for us. We have a 75% chance of obtaining at least 1 heads. So we're feeling good. The odds can get a bit more manipulated off the notion that our first heads is all that's needed. So we don't need to do the second coin flip. So there's more free scenarios. So there's heads, or you can go tails heads or tails tails. So it's more about a 33% chance in that situation. But it could still be cool. Okay, this is a tough call. We're going to evolve here. We're going to attach the rigid band here. After the peak doesn't really affect them. So we're going to bring in our Artizone. Get another Squovent. We'll nest stash. Maybe we could find like a switch. Team evolution. Don't really need it. We'll nest stash. Maybe we could find a switch. Level ball. Not quite. We might as well set up our final Squovent. Barrel. Okay, it feels real bad having to waste a DTE. We can force out a switch. Let's get an escape rope. Let's use Arvin. And let's just grab another rigid band. Put this up here. We'll escape rope. Makes sense. I mean, why? You know. We'll set up a DTE here. We really... Do we want bosses? I would say yeah, the DTE kind of is nice, and we can use bosses on next turn. The B barrel we can force into a nest stash situation. I'm gonna call it good. We'll just slip and roll. I want a boss as the Giratina V. Not the V star, because the V has nothing going on. So we can use it as a means of getting more damage going. But yeah, essentially, coin flip mechanics can be fun if you can rig the odds in your favor. And Glimwood Tangle was a great way of doing that. But Glimwood Tangle's gone. D's out of rotation. So it's not as fun. A straight 50-50 for effects that are alright. There's a, shoot, what's the Pokemon called? Frostlass. Yeah, there's a Frostlass that's supposed to go with the Candace card. And what the Candace card does, it's look at the top 7 cards of your deck and you add any water, energy, or Pokemon you find there to your hand. And it's alright. I mean, compared to Irida, not as good. Okay, he's gonna go for the 280 hit. We're just gonna try and fish out for a Greedent next turn. We can actually tank the 280 hit, surprisingly enough. So he has to Star Requiem due to our 30 damage reduction. And if he doesn't look at it, yeah, he has to Star Requiem. Okay. Move up the Squovent. Ultra Ball's super nice. We're just gonna boss's orders to bring up the Giratina V here. We'll double trash these two to pick up our Greedent EX. We might as well get that high HP fresh pool on there. We can retreat. I don't want to run like another DTE right now, so we're just gonna fish out for a something like a V-Guard. would be nice. Bosses, okay. Jet energy, not crazy, but it's gonna work out in our favor. We can DTE next turn. We were a bit slow on the DTE, which is unfortunate. Now he's gonna be able to have means of retreat and switch, but we will honestly be fine. Yeah. Well, there's a Frostless. I want to say it was yeah, just a switch. Brilliant Stars. I don't feel like that's right, but I feel like it was Brilliant Stars. Anywho, there's a Frostless that essentially allows you to paralyze if you played Candace from your hand that turn. So the entire gimmick is you keep recycling Candace into your deck and you keep playing it and you get guaranteed paralyzation. And I might run a deck on that. I mean, it's fun enough. Of course, with decks like Lost Box, which you can retreat out of the paralysis and be fine, or electric decks, that's all right. But where Snorlax Stall actually did enough to get some victories, then we could be talking. Okay, I'm trying to see what's going on. Okay, he goes Giratina V-Star on that one. He runs up to Sableye. Is he going to take out both Squovent? If he does, that's unfortunate. Yeah. He's got game. As long as he can get the Sableye back out, he has game. I've faced against, like, two. In the 3 matches I played, I faced against 2 Lost Box. Which I never face against Lost Box, so that's why I don't run to Jirachi. I mean, maybe I should run it as a pocket. Maybe I should. See, now we can't let the Sableye live, because he gets the guaranteed kill on Bidoof or B-Barrel or Dunsparce. We'll set up a Jet Energy. Maybe we can force a retreat, get rid of DTE. I don't know. Let's take a look. Arvin. Let's just fit out the deck a little bit more. Oh, shoot. That's right. Well, the game's over. I forgot. I can't do that. And so I should have used my Arvin to get a switch. Well, we're just gonna never ever enough. Yeah, I forgot you can't attack with Slip and Roll twice in a row. Honestly, I get that it's colorless, but like colorless balances itself out by not having advantage against anything, right? You're weak to fighting, nothing's weak to the colorless. That's the balance. So I feel like being a stage 1 and costing free energy and having that restriction, it should be able to do more. I mean, take a look at Miraidon EX, right? Okay, take a look at Miraidon EX. The balances between these two. Okay, 220 to 260. Okay, I got more HP, but I'm an evolution. Evolutions tend to have more HP. Tandem unit, great ability. It's a better Battle VIP pass for electric decks. 2 electric and a colorless compared to free colorless. Okay, you can throw Greedent into anything, but if you're running a themed deck like electric, you're not going to throw Greedent in there. Why? 220 to 210. Both can't attack. So a basic Pokemon that requires less investment. I mean, you gotta be running mono electric, but when electric came out, there's still a great amount of support there compared to Greedent EX. This just seems like poor design. You're not gonna run never ever enough. It's not good. If it was maybe basic, if we were talking about base Scarlet Violet, This Greedent right here, where it's only one prize card, maybe. But for 2 prize cards, it's not worth it. Slip and Roll needs to do more damage to have it really be justifiable. Not a crazy amount, like maybe like a 240. I think that'd be fair. And it's bounced out by the high HP, you could say, but 40 HP more doesn't make that big of a difference. Anyway, sorry about that complaining. That was Greedent. If you have any suggestions on how we do run the deck, please let me know. I'd always appreciate input. I'm always looking to get my deck built better. And if you have any cards or decks you want to see a Sparfa, you want to see Glamora, you want to see Dragonite, let me know. I'm always looking for ideas, and so I'd appreciate your input. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye.